You ready?
I'd like to do like the YouTube thing where it's like I'm talking about something and it's just like whenever I have 10 minutes for me doing stuff, I just like and do like regular stuff so people are just like, oh, this is just this dude talking about this shit.
Yeah, people love it. I watch all videos now. I realize they each give me a different kind of vibe. Where were we at? We were talking about hip-hop, the romanticization of the hood, but I mean, I guess that is what's selling hip-hop. You romanticize the music that you listen to. Like, people can romanticize that even though they might live in Beijing, they can be rolling down the street, smoking Indo, sipping on gin and juice. Right?
Yeah. And I definitely think it's like, it goes back to the fact where it's like, people who then grow up in the hood.
Yeah.
Or in the streets in general. I'm not going to say necessarily just the ghetto.
Yeah.
Because hip hop is a lot of just like street life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
don't have to be necessarily, like it did come from the hoods, but it's just general street culture. It's like damn near synonymous with hip hop culture at this point.
I mean, they're infused. There's no way to really take
you
out.
You can't separate them that much.
Yeah, once you take it out, it loses those characteristics of it. Like any movement, it'd be like taking Elvis Presley out of rock and roll. Like, there's just no way you can like unfuse those two ideas. Because
as much as you might love or hate Elvis for his role in rock and roll.
Yeah, as much as you love or hate Elvis, his role is still like a massive one, whether you like it or not. And as much as people like the hood or hip hop culture, that's in there.
Yeah.
Do you, okay, so I got a question. Like, I feel like hip hop culture in America, however, is just kind of being watered down. Because I hear like, I don't know, I went to an 80s versus 90s like hip hop battle, right? Okay. And they started playing songs from the 2000s, and then they played all the way like 2018, and I was like, it was listening to all these different songs where I was like, man, 2018 ain't nobody writing shit. Like, there was a lot of like, I do drugs, perp and Molly, like, I like to party, and it's
my opinion on that is actually like,
I don't mind mumble rap if it's good, but some are just like, this is just about doing drugs all day.
Okay, so this is what I feel about this, and I've had this discussion a couple of times. I have like an extensive opinion on this, but like, what I feel about it is like we was discussing a little bit earlier before we started recording.
Oh wait, hold up! I forgot to introduce you. This is V-Syn, a rapper and producer, and I'll let you just tell them about yourself.
Yeah, this your boy V-Syn. That's V to the dash to the S-Y-N with the freshest up in here, yo. Yes, I am. Yeah, man, for y'all who don't know me, I'm from India, straight from India. You know, I didn't grow up in the US or nothing, but I'm out here now, rocking with y'all, rocking with her. Everybody here, you know, shout out to all my homies, shout out Scar, shout out Ashley, who I actually met you through.
Oh yeah, shout out to Ashley Marie of Trippy Styles, mobile hair salon, and she even has Trippy Styles, the radio show. Go ahead and check her out. We're here just like riffing on hip hop, like the international scene. We're ripping on hip hop from around the world. We're talking about battle rap. So I mean, I guess we're not necessarily going to be doing a tutorial or anything. We're really just going to be vibing and talking about the nature of hip hop. So if you want to get in some questions, or if you like what we're doing, or if you have a topic that you think that we should really be talking about in the hip hop community, please leave a comment below, and make sure to check out V-Syn. We're going to have all his social medias and all that good stuff at the end of the show. But we're going to hop back into this conversation about hip hop. So, okay, so you are obviously from India?
Yeah, that would be.
Do you feel like hip hop is there's a lot of hip hop purists. There's a lot of people who feel like hip hop can only come from one little section of the world. And I mean, does that affect you when you're doing the hip hop? Because you know there's a lot of hip hop heads that believe hip hop is only American.
Right, and that's the thing, you know, coming from a hip hop background, but not from an American hip hop background. Yeah. You know, we always just kind of like, we were just growing up aware of that challenge, where it's like people are gonna like, there's gonna be a certain number of people who just disregard us off bat
Yeah, that's just gonna happen.
We're not from there. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, you know, it's like it doesn't matter because me not being from here, I grew up with a lot of my hip hop influences from outside of America just as much as I grew up with influences from America. You know what I'm saying? And like, to me and to other, like at the end of the day, if you got the bars, if you got the attitude, like hip hop's hip hop. You know what I'm saying? It's like the accent don't matter. The like, you know what I'm saying, your skin color don't matter, your nationality, none of that matters because hip hop's like a worldwide culture, you know. It don't matter, none of that matters. But
I think it's almost impossible to be that much of a hip hop purist when you're looking at when you look at the widespread of hip hop from around the world. Like right now, I'm listening to CL. And for me, it's just like, that's a Japanese female hip hop artist.
Right.
And she's amazing. Like, you know, I see her starting to do work with Diplo and and you know what? And I find myself playing that on a constant basis because as a hip hop head, I like hip hop from anywhere.
Yeah.
Or some of my favorite international hip hop bands was the Bumblebees in Australia. There was one year where I was just like, they laid the coldest album. And nobody knew about it because it wasn't American, but it was but I was singing America like, wow, this album way better than any other hip hop album was put out by a brother and sister combo in Australia. Right. So I feel like hip hop purists are limiting themselves to not hearing really good hip hop coming out of parts of the country. But
well, the thing is, you know, any genre of music is gonna have its purists, you know.
Yeah.
Where it's like it's just that mentality of, oh, this is hip hop and this, like even with the time thing that we were talking about earlier, like there's a lot of cats who are just like, oh, you know, modern hip hop ain't like, it's whack, you know, old school, like all them old heads, you know what I'm saying?
Oh no, there's some modern hip hop that I love, but like, I mean, for me, that one little segment, can you even really call that? Is that hip hop culture? Like,
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's like, just because, like we was discussing earlier, you know, how hip hop culture is like the whole philosophy or the basis of it is like taking what you have available to you and like utilizing it to make it something new. So with that, I just believe a lot of change comes through time in anything, but in hip hop specifically. So I feel like, me personally, I like bars, you know what I'm saying? I like clever writing, all that stuff.
Well, yeah, it's poetry.
So,
like you being being a battle rapper, you being a lyricist, right? This is what you do. This is what you do daily, and I feel that way. That's kind of why I started doing spoken word.
Yeah.
Oh wait, quick shout out! Spoken word album coming out. Those of you who might have bought my last album. You should come and buy my new album, but it'll be out soon. Sorry, I didn't mean to break in with that.
Yeah.
You know what? You should definitely check out his work too. I mean, I know we're getting deep in conversations, but I gotta make sure I remember these things, or else I'm just gonna forget to do them. Okay, didn't mean to jump out there.
Fine. Go ahead.
But I had to give a quick shout out because we just started our conversation.
Yeah, we did. We didn't do none of the formalities.
That's the sign of a good conversation, though, right? If you gotta do all that stuff, like, it's a sign of a great conversation.
We've been talking for a while, you know, even off cam, we've been talking for a while, but...
So...
But, yeah, like, me, personally, I love bars, you know what I'm saying? And, like, I come from a poetry background myself.
So you gotta love bars, it's lyricist.
So, you know, to me, like, it was just a natural jump because, to me, it was the lyricism that attracted it. But now, you know, like, once I started getting into the whole hip-hop scene, like, I produce my own stuff as well for a lot of my projects, you know, and I just do a whole bunch of like other media related stuff.
I also think, not to break in, but I also think that like hip hop culture and the way technology has a kind of the way you can mix it with anything has allowed for like the do-it-yourself rapper.
Yeah, definitely,
you
and
know?
that's just technology's come like far away from where like music in general started. You know what I'm saying? When recording music started, it's just been a long way. So now it's easy for anyone to go and, in theory, make themselves a music career. It takes a whole lot, apart from technology, obviously.
Yes.
But, like, in theory, you have the tools available to do it. Mm-hmm. But
Truth.
With that being said, like, you know, I'm like one of those people, like, because I produce, I like the music aspect of hip hop. I like the lyrics too, you know what I'm saying? The groove, the beat, all that stuff. And again, even in that, you know, there's a lot of, like, I grew up with a lot of people who went to jazz, who went to metal, a whole bunch of stuff, for a lot of the earlier part of my music career, before I, like, got into hip hop. Like, I was always doing hip hop, but, like, you know, I didn't really know where the scene was, so I was outside of the hip hop scene, but still in the music scene.
Yeah.
And, you know, to a lot of them, they were, like, playing, like, crazy, like, chords and stuff, and just, like, but to my ears, I wasn't never looking out for, like, the harmonies or whatever. To my ears, I was looking for that drum and bass groove, you know what I'm saying? But that's what appealed to me about the beats and stuff. But that's the thing, purists are gonna be purists with it and all that. But that's the thing. I think, like, the hip hop industry to me is just evolved with what's being asked for. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's like people who listen to hip hop now listen to hip hop for a different reason than you and I per se would, like, listen to hip hop. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like,
I listen to hip hop for the art and the lyrics. Yeah. I feel like I like the idea of the human mind coming up with these combinations of words. You know, they're literally just words that could have this effect to make another human cry.
And that's the thing.
It's you're like casting a spell with the right hip hop song. You're like casting a spell. Like for me, it's like every time I listen to like Wu-Tang's Dollar Dollar Bill Y'all, or like I don't know, what song for you is the song that like when you think about it, you're automatically like just like you can't help it.
You're like some way related to that. Like if you're a famous musician, it's because you've worked in the film industry. Okay. You know, if you're a famous actor, it's because you've worked in the film industry. Like the TV serial actors ain't that big, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like if you, so it's almost like a monopoly in the media industry a little bit. Okay. And for me, you know, I never worked with that. I was never about that life. Like I worked a lot in the underground scene, and I'm still trying to put my part in for the scene back home. But it's a lot of cats. I ain't even gonna say like originated, and there's been people that's been putting in work way before I started putting in work. Yeah. And shout outs to all them OGs who's been doing that, you know, and like it's because of those cats, and then the work they put in, the foundations they laid, and then the work we put in on top of that. But it's like hip hop in India right now is kind of like where hip hop would have been in like the 70s or early 80s over here, you know what I'm saying? Because
I mean, but the 70s and early 80s in hip hop was majestic, yo. I mean, listen to the music from the 70s and early 80s. I mean, like, okay, it wasn't as serious as say like, yo, Cop Killer, right? But I feel like at that time period, you couldn't have been that aggressive with hip hop. And been
I mean, it's not
cop killer, because definitely people were getting killed by the cops.
Right, you know? But I mean, it's not even necessarily on a sense of where like the art form is. Okay. It's more about just what like the culture in general is like till today. So I lived in Mumbai most recently before I came out here. Okay. And till today, every Sunday 5 p.m. there's this certain park where most, like anybody in the hip hop scene, whether you knew, whether you're like there for, unless you have previous engagements, you try to make it out there. Okay. And it's just b-boys, this is rappers ciphering, it's b-boys dancing, it's like beats being played on speakers and all that. And it's like, there's still that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't see that happen out here that much on that kind of a scale. This is like the whole city's hip-hop scene is in that one park, you know what I'm saying? And Mumbai is a huge city for those of y'all who don't know. It takes you like 4 hours on a free road to get from one end to the other end of the city. And it's like...
That's the story of early hip-hop. That is the story. That is the foundation of hip-hop right there.
And that's the thing. That's where it's at back home. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people putting in hella moves to get it, and we progressing. It's on the up. I ain't gonna say.
What is it? They love to see they love to hear the story about the thug, how the thugs live and worry. Like, it's almost like, I don't know, I almost imagine it to be kind of like this old west, like how people romanticize cowboys. Mm-hmm. Is how a lot of like, I think the generation romanticizes like hood heroes.
Definitely.
Like, yeah. Like we romanticize the hell out of drug dealers to the point where like